So, what's inside the gist? To answer this question, you have to open the source and watch out, what's there? First of all, how the gist describes itself to other parts. You can see it in header files, which are in source folder include and then access folder. Here you can see gist H, which is responsible for gist interface, gist private H, which is responsible for internal gist structures, and gist scan, which is responsible for structures used in query execution in searches inside the gist. What's most important here is the structure gist state. This structure represents some specific index, and here you have a description of tuples which are contained by this gist. You can see field TubeDesk. This is where a description of tuple lives, and fetch TubeDesk. This is a description of tuples returned on index-only scans. And after you can see some function references, function pointers. Here you can see consistent function, union function, penalty function, and pick-split function. This is a function which we were discussing previously, a function which are necessary to organize gist algorithms. Also, you have here compress function and decompress function, which are responsible for compressing and decompressing your data. Gist can store your data compressed with algorithm that you can specify in your extension in description of your data type. And you can see that here it's not just pointers to C functions. Here are arrays of pointers, arrays of a size index max keys. Actually, in gist you can have more than one data type. Gist can contain many columns, and these columns can have different data types described with different extensions. And all this inside one representation, one instantiation of gist. Also, you can inspect C code of gist. It is located in folder backend access gist. Here is more files than header files, but they have some straightforward names like gist C is a main interface functions, main functions for other call-to-call gist. Gist build is a function responsible for building gist when you already have a data table with some data and now you want to create new index. Gist get and gist scan are responsible for running queries inside the gist. Gist-util and gist-util is just utilities. Here are some files for vacuum and write-ahead logging of gists. Let's recall some about page structure. Gist page is quite usual page which is governed by system functions for page access, which we were discussing previously. Here we have item IDs or line pointers, which is 4 bytes each, and they are pointing to the tuples which are located at the end of the page. Tuples are located close to each other. The page is not fragmented, so if you have to change the size of, say, T3, you will have to remove T3 from the page and allocate T3 at the end of tuples again. Item ID contains 3 fields, one for flags, it's just 2 bytes. 2 bits, one field for offset, where your tuple is within the page, and one for length. how big is your tuple. And here you can see fundamental limitations that offset is no longer than 15 bytes. Tuple length is also no longer than 15 bytes. Index tuple is a structure which is responsible for accessing each tuple, and each tuple starts with index tuple structure. First field here is item pointer to some other page. If this is a leaf page of gist, item pointer is pointing to heap. And if this is an internal page of the gist, item pointer is pointing to some other page within your gist. And then you have some flags and start of actually your date of your tuple. The function which worth your attention is gist_do_insert. This is a loop which recursively processes which is descending from root page down to leaf page, calling penalty function to choose where to insert your data. And when gist_do_insert is descending from root to leaf, it is updating keys on its way to reflect that new data was inserted in this subtree. And then when it needs to change something on page, it is calling gist place to page. This is another very important function of gist. It is responsible to update existing tuple on gist page or place a new tuple on page. But if you have to split the page, gist place to page will call split algorithms of your data types to split your page, possibly on not just two pages, but there are situations when you have to split your page into much more parts than just two, if the data you are inserting is quite big and your data types are producing unbalanced splits. Well, now let's discuss how to use gist from queries.